Welcome back once again to the Saville Community Sports Center in Edmonton in the University of Alberta for the fourth and final game of this second day of preliminary round competition at the FIBA Americas 2015 Women's Championships. Craig Feda alongside my partner for this one, Chantel Valet. And Chantel, Cuba seeing its first action coming into this one. Dominican Republic, they got their feet wet yesterday in a loss to Chile, but what do you expect out of the Cubans tonight?
Well, Cuba is definitely here to try to win this tournament. They've been out of international competition in the past about decade and just came back about 3 years ago when Coach Alberto decided to say, hey, I want to put this team back together. We'd like a shot at the Olympics again. So lots of good basketball from Casanova, number 5, that we see right now. She is a dynamic point guard. She will lead the team, and she's here to win a medal. Abreu, number 9 that we see, they are all very strong players. Amargo, pardon, she was a Cuban Player of the Year for the last 2 seasons. She can shoot and drive, very athletic. Cuba should have a fairly easy game, so to speak, to start their tournament against the Dominican Republic.
Taking a look at the starting lineups for Cuba and their head coach Alberto Zavala. Starting at guard, Inaitis Casanova. Yamara Amargo at forward. Aridi Poveo Chacon at center. Clinia Noblet at forward. And the other guard, Lidis Oquendo. And for the Dominican Republic, who we saw yesterday, they lost to Chile. Yulari Zapata, Jennifer Estrella, Genesis Evangelista, Viviana Beltre, and Suyeri Monsac. They're starting 5. Solid blue uniforms for the Dominican Republic, solid white with some blue trim for the Cubans. A lot of blue and white out there. Try to keep it all straight. Ball's in the air, and we are underway. Cuba wins the tip, and Amargo right to the bucket and lays it in, and just like that.
Can't she even make her mark, right? She knows that she's the Player of the Year for Cuba, and she wants to set the tone right from the get-go.
Zapata to Beltre. Now some bumping and loose ball control, and now a 3 on the way. That's short by Suyeri Monsac. Here comes Cuba. Down low to Viviane Beltre. I beg your pardon, that's Chacon. Here comes Evangelista on the drive. That won't go. Rebound Chacon. Now the drive. Casanova won't go. Team's running up and down the court. A lot of action. Not a lot of scoring just yet. Evangelista fighting for the rebound, and it goes out of bounds to Cuba. Get a look at the first basket. Grabbed out of the air by one hand by Clinia Noblet. Now a 3 on the way. That's no good. Dominicans working the ball around the outside. Handing it to Zapata. 10 to shoot. Monsac zips the pass inside. Beautifully done. And Beltre scores, and we're tied at 2.
An unlikely breakdown from the Cuban defense. They seem a little flat-footed to start this tournament. They were off yesterday. They flew into Canada on Saturday evening, late into Toronto. Didn't get here until Sunday. And maybe we just have to get used to a little bit of time change in climate.
Povea pops from 17 and hits and gives the Cubans a 4-2 lead. Evangelista over to Beltre. Out of Estrella on the right wing. Shot clock down to 8. Estrella, or Zapata rather. And a foul on Povea.
Zapata did a very good job attacking and keeping control of her body to draw that foul. She traveled with the ball, but the referee did make the right judgment in calling the first action that happened, which was the block.
So Evangelista, the pretty move.
Evangelista is definitely a player to keep in check for Cuba. She can get the basket very easily.
Margot's long shot won't go, but tracked down in the corner. Povea on the rebound. Casanova working the left side, splitting the defense, and then a moving screen called on Noblet.
I think the referee judged that she had move and start rolling a little too early. As we see Evangelista behind the back attacking the basket to convert on a right-hand layup.
It's Evangelista trying to feed Monsac down low, and Monsac struggling to do anything against Noblet. Ball's on the floor, tie-up called. Possession will remain with the Dominican Republic. So Cuba going to the bench early as Ochoa comes in. She replaces Ariadne Povea.
And Greg, you'll notice right away that Ochoa has so much scoring power. She's the sixth man coming on the floor, coming on the bench, but a very, very good player, and sometimes does start for Cuba.
And the Dominican Republic not paying attention to the shot clock. We've seen that how many times over the first 2 days.
Yes.
Oh, a nice move by Casanova to free herself up for a jumper. It won't go. Beltre the rebound. Evangelista getting things set up from the left side. Bounces it out to Monsac. Now back inside to Evangelista. She took a step away for the fadeaway jumper. Good look, but it didn't go. Casanova, right side to Margot. Now the jumper by Noblet is no good. Rebound fought for underneath by Oquendo, and a foul called. That's going to be on Jennifer Estrella, her first, team's first. Quick pass underneath to Noblet. She loses it on the way up. Again, they try to find Noblet down low. Finally gets it to Noblet. She goes up and she's fouled from behind. I believe that's going to be Viviana Beltre.
Good concentration from Noblet. She tried to get a hold of that pass for about 3 times in a row. Finally, on the third one, out of bounds, seals the player properly on her back, keeps control. It could have been a foul call even before.
Yeah.
But good body control from Noblet. Stayed with a lot of concentration and drew the foul right as she took the shot.
First free throw is good. Second one rattles around and out. Margot's there. She can't get the putback. And then Cuba comes away with the steal. Casanova. Oh, she passed it right to the feet of Margot, and she couldn't do anything but kick it out of bounds.
Cuba, interestingly, tried to change things up here in a 2-2-1 full court press, and that might bring a little bit more intensity. The game's been quite sloppy so far in terms of intensity.
Well, there you go. They got the steal, and then
again, a turnover.
Couldn't finish. Francie Ochoa had it go off her hands. Somebody's got to move, got to come and help. Boy, Zapata was trapped along the sideline, and there was nobody moving to try to come help.
And a timeout called by the Dominican Republic as they're going to try to figure out how to break this press.
And she just flipped it up, hoping somebody would come get it.
One of the things to do is never to be dribbling the ball on the sideline that we just saw on this replay. Evangelista stuck on the sideline past the center court, a very dangerous place to be when you bring the ball up.
7-4 in favor of Cuba early on here in the first quarter, or fourth and final game. Earlier on, it was Argentina big over Ecuador, 70-35. After that, Venezuela in a close one over the Virgin Islands, 69-62. And then concluding just a little while ago, Team Canada dominated Chile after Chile lost Zamora Morrison to a back injury. Canada won that one 93-36. 4 more games tomorrow here, starting at 1 o'clock. Cuba back in action. They play the last game tonight, and the first game tomorrow. They take on Puerto Rico at 1. Then Argentina and the Virgin Islands tangle at 3:15 local time. Then the evening games, Dominican Republic against Canada. And then Brazil taking on Ecuador. So following the timeout, we'll see what the Dominican Republic can come up with. Monsac up top. Finally goes around Noblet and double dribble.
A lot of sloppy basketball to start the game. Travels, double dribble, missed passes. Hopefully both teams will be able to convert a little bit better even on offense. 3 for 11 from Cuba, 2 for 7 from the Dominican Republic. Those statistics need to get better if any of these teams wishes to advance further even in the tournament. They need to both play better basketball.
Chasey Hernandez on now for the Dominican Republic. Looked like a clean block. What called for the foul is Sierra Monsac. See if we can get a look at it here.
A nice rip and go from Okendo, keeping her feet set and drawing the foul. Okendo, a left-handed post player that can also play the guard. On that last move, did rip and go going towards her left.
She hits both free throws, and she gives Cuba a 9-4 lead over the Dominican Republic.
Cuba did slow down and not show a press after the timeout, but on this position, they're right back into it.
Well, Cuba had a golden opportunity after the steal there, and then turns it over, but still, the Dominicans having trouble even getting into an offense. Now a 3 by Estrella, that's no good. Rebound Noblet. Casanova. Long jumper rattles off for Okendo. Hernandez. Guarded by Okendo. 10 to shoot. Monsac. Now a 3 on the way. That's no good. Rebound Noblet. Ochoa over to Casanova. Bounce pass into the post to Noblet. She kicks it out to Okendo. The open look, no. Gets her own rebound. Goes back up with the right hand. That won't go. Casanova had a wide open 3. She tried to zip the pass inside to Noblet. Got it stolen and then got it back.
Yes, what a steal from Casanova. She just turned the ball over herself, and on the steal, on her turnover, came back and stole the ball to go convert for her first points of the game.
Sometimes you'll see a player compound a mistake with another mistake. That time she made up for it with a good play. Now a 3 on the way from Monsac. That's no good. Hernandez gets the rebound. She launches a three, and that's good. Jaycee Hernandez scores her first 3 points, and it's 11-7. Margo on the right wing to Oquendo. Another three on the way for Cuba. That's good. Yamara Amargo.
No better way to answer a three-point shot from the opponent. Coming back and nailing a three from Amargo, the player of the year for Cuba.
Hernandez tried to get it to Beltre, but she had vacated her area. Casanova, the easy pass to Amargo, and Amargo lays it in for 2 more, and she's got 7.
Beautiful passes on that 3 against 1.
Cuba leading 16-7. Monsac tries to bounce it into the low post, but it goes off the foot of a Cuban player, and now Cuba making some substitutions. Paniagua comes on for the Dominican Republic to replace Beltre. And challenging the inbound pass is Oquendo. I beg your pardon, that's Romero. And she bumps the player and commits the foul. That's her first, 3rd on the team. Peguero into the game now for Dominican. Monsac over left side to Hernandez. She puts up the 3. That looked like it was going to go in. Noblette the rebound. Crossover by Romero, drives the baseline, finds Ochoa on the cut, draws the foul, and she'll go to the free throw line.
We talked about Ochoa earlier being a great 6th man off the bench. Look at here, she's looking at her teammates, but she knows she's got to cut through, circles around a defender, and keeps good momentum to go and draw the foul.
Second foul on Estrella. The free throw is good. Ochoa hits them both and gives Cuba an 11-point lead. Cuba has made its last 5 field goal attempts. And they remain that 2-2-1 full court pressure. It has created trouble for the Dominicans so far. Yeah, Cuba has 6 steals in the first 7:46 of play. And then a 3 from the corner. Well, if they're going to break the press, that's the way to do it. Get some scores out of the press break. Now the step-in jumper by Amargo, that's no good. Jaycee Hernandez had the rebound. She was bumped from behind off the ball, and so Cuba comes away with it. Romero directing traffic to Noblette inside, kicks it out. 3 on the way. Bang! Actually, we're going to say that was a 2-pointer. Yamara Amargo. It's 22-10. That's right. It did count as a 2. She's so far the highest scorer, 9 points already in the first quarter for her. "15 seconds left in the quarter. And a foul called. It's on Francie Ochoa, her first. 4th on the team. About a 1.5-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. 3 on the way. That's no good. Jealous the rebound. Oh, and the 3-pointer won't count for Romero. Just a little too late, and at the end of 1, it's Cuba 20, Dominican Republic 10. Cuba 6 of 18 from the floor, 33%. 1 of 2 from beyond the arc, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Out rebounding the Dominican Republic 14-6. 6 offensive rebounds for the Cubans already. And they have 6 steals in the first quarter. The Dominicans not shooting very well. 2 of 7 from 2, 2 of 7 from 3. They have not shot a free throw yet. 8 turnovers in that first quarter. So right now, that all adds up to a 10-point Cuban lead after 1 quarter. Margot with 11 points for Cuba. Noblet with 4, Casanova 4. Hernandez 3 for the Dominican Republic. Leading rebounder is Beltre rather with 4. Chantal, it looks like the Dominican Republic can't really find a flow offensively so far.
Absolutely not. They struggled yesterday against Chile. And Cuba, the moment they put that 2-1 press on, it was a little bit of a game changer so far. The Dominican was unable to really successfully break that press until they hit a long 2 in the corner late into that fourth quarter. Probably something that Coach Ariel Portuondo is going to address again with his team. And Cuba is not playing full cylinders right now. I mean, they're playing okay, but it is a team that can play much better with a lot more enthusiasm and energy than they are right now.
There you see Yamara Amargo, 11 points in that first quarter. And what can the Dominican defense do to slow her down?
Greg, it's difficult to stop a player of the year, of course, but she's been shooting, driving. They're going to have to pay a little bit more attention to her in general. She curls out the screens really, really well. She's probably the best player for Cuba, learning how to read the screens and making the right decisions.
Nice attack by Noblet, but the shot didn't go. Figuero now on the drive. Has her shot blocked, and here comes Cuba. Little mishandle on the ball by Abreu. That slowed things up. Monsac into the corner. Hernandez back out the other way. 3 on the way. That's good.
That was right when the shot clock was expiring, or at least we heard the shot clock, a whistle. There was a foul at the same time. The 3-point shot was deemed good, and a foul was called against Dominican at the same time.
Okay, so the foul.
You see the 3-point shot here, that's successful. The whistle blew at the same time. Foul was given to,
let's see who the foul was.
Avila. Oh, Monsac from the Dominican Republic.
Okay, so I got it. That was confusing. The foul was on the offense.
The foul was on the offense, correct.
Also scored. Okay, so Yeri Monsac drew her second foul. That's what was confusing me.
You got it, Greg. That's exactly what happened. So basket was good, and Monsac was pushing under the basket to try to get to the defensive board. And that's how she got the call for the foul at the same time, but the shot went in.
I mean, I know it's not hard to confuse me, but that one really baffled me there for a second. Now Jalise scores. Nice drive by Jalise. Good effort hanging onto the ball. The foul was on Yamel Abreu, her first. Free throw is good, and the 3-point play completed by Jelis. It's 23-13 in favor of Cuba.
Cuba remains in their pressure. They've been successful for most of the time.
Interestingly enough, Noblet was in the middle this time, and they left somebody else back. Usually in the 2-2-1, Noblet's been in back. That time, Zulira Atis was in back. Boy, the Dominican Republic just struggling to find any rhythm offensively. Now the nice pass inside. Noblet circles back around, takes the short jumper. That won't go. Brayu, right side, and now a three on the way. That was blocked by Atis.
Just talked about them struggling on offense, and the next time on the floor, they get a three-point shot blocked. It's going to be difficult for them to score. They should look into maybe attacking the free throw line a little bit more.
Nice catch and shoot by Amargo. It did not go, but a foul called on the rebound. As Zulira Atias called for the foul. First team foul for the Cubans in the second quarter. Evangelista, nice pass underneath. Oh, Beltre's shot got rejected by Atis. And the Cubans run, and Ochoa finishes to give Cuba a 25-13 lead. Evangelista zips the pass to Beltre. Now Brayu between the rings, swings it left side to Evangelista. Tries to bounce it inside, stolen by Atis. Casanova kicks it out, three on the way. Amargo can't connect from long range, and the ball tipped out of bounds by Atis.
The timeout is being called by the Dominican, their second and last timeout of this half.
6:39 to play, second quarter. Cuba up by 12. We're back in Edmonton in a moment. .6:39 to play in the second quarter. Cuba leading the Dominican Republic 25-13. 11 points already for Yamara Amargo. Paniagua has 6 for the Dominican Republic, but the Dominicans really struggling to find any rhythm offensively. They're struggling getting the ball up against the Cuban press. Now Evangelista attacks the bucket and draws the foul.
And that's what the Dominican needs to do a little bit more. Get themselves to the free throw line, attack Cuba one-on-one, trying to find opportunities to get different shots than just jump shots and threes right now, which aren't going in for them. They are 5 from 19, shooting 26% so far only in the game.
Unitas Casanova on the foul, her first, team second. And Evangelista and Zapata are fast enough that if they spread the Cubans out, they should be able to attack and draw some fouls now and again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely right. And that's something they have to do over and over again.
Jealous in the corner, 10 to shoot. Casanova back into the corner. That's Jealous. Shot won't go. Atis had it and then lost it out of bounds. That'll be Dominican ball. And really, for as much as the Dominican Republic has struggled, to find themselves only down 10 at this point, I think is very fortunate.
Absolutely. Cuba has had a number of turnovers and missed easy basket. They're only shooting themselves for just a little over 30%. This is not where the coach Zapata would like to see his team right now.
Evangelista's long deuce won't go. Cubans quickly up the court. Right hand lay attempt by Jealous won't go. And then a double clutch. Nicely done by Genesis Evangelista. She gets her teammates to within 8. Evangelista with 6 now. Long pass to Casanova. Over to the right side. A wide open jumper is short. Rebound taken out of there by Ochoa. Now Casanova. Back to Amargo. Her open jumper rattles in.
Amargo's playing very well for Cuba. When Amargo played in the Pan American Games a couple weeks ago, she had an excellent start of the tournament, being the highest scorer, but then she faded away. So again, here in the first game, she's playing very well for Cuba. She's going to have to sustain this for the rest of the tournament.
Foul as the ball was bouncing around on the rim. It's going to be on Estrella, and that'll be her third. Third team foul as well, so Estrella is going to sit down. Chasey Hernandez comes back on. Monsac comes on for Soto for the Dominicans.
It's unfortunate for the Dominican losing Estrella already. 3 fouls. She's been performing well for them.
Ortiz misses from 15, and the Dominicans trying to run. Evangelista weaving her way, kicking it out to Monsac. And the foul called against Cuba's Zuliera Atis. That's her second, third on the team, with 4:15 to play in the second quarter. Evangelista to her right around the screen, tries to throw it back to Monsac and into the backcourt, and that is a backcourt violation.
So far, Gray, as you mentioned, it was 10 points at the quarter. It's still only 10 points. Both teams are tied at 7 in the second quarter. So Dominican playing a little bit better, finding ways to score, getting themselves a free throw line, breaking the press better.
Oquendo gets it inside to Atis. She goes up over Beltre, can't score. And Evangelista jets out of there, but she's picked up by Ochoa. Rayu on the right wing. Bounce pass inside to Monsac. She's working her way in. Pretty move, but she hits the rim with it on the way up. And now a breakaway for Francie Ochoa. Easy lay-in with the left hand.
Dominican has allowed way too many fast break from rebounds or steals for Cuba. And Cuba is converting on almost every single one of them. The Dominican needs to take care of the ball. 10 turnovers so far.
Casanova with 7 assists already as Chasey Hernandez from way downtown.
Well, that was outstanding. She should be really proud of herself. She was waiting for a long time, and she was a couple feet behind the 3.
That was from the curling rink attached to the competition floor here. Wow, that was from way outside. Ochoa loses it underneath. Now a tie-up's going to be called. It's going to be Dominican Republic ball.
It looks like Monsac might have gotten hurt a little bit. Big loss for the Dominican if Monsac cannot go back. She's holding her head close to her eye.
I think I see some blood on the floor too.
Yeah. They will have to. There's definitely blood on the floor. And you can see the blood in her hands right now. She was holding the cut, so she must have gotten cut just right above the eye.
Well, they're putting the pressure on her hand. I don't know if she got somebody's fingernail or something, or
it was a knee. Huh.
I didn't see what happened. Now they're holding.
It was a knee.
Now they're holding her head.
Yeah, there was a knee to the head before the ball fell on the ground.
See if we can get a better look at it here. Oh, there it is. She caught the left knee on the right side of her head. .246 to play as Monsac is being tended to in front of the Dominican Republic bench. And we're back underway. Now, if she were a hockey player, she'd already have some staples in it. She'd be back out on the ice.
And she might shortly.
2:29 to play, second quarter. Kind of a plotting first half here between Cuba and the Dominican Republic, and that frankly has benefited the Dominican Republic, even though they trail by 9.
The pace of the game is quite slow.
As Amargo hits that shot, 31-20. Amargo now 15 points.
Pace is an advantage. A slower pace is an advantage to the Dominican Republic. They like to take their time, move the ball around.
Paniagua bumps into Cepeda on the way up. Casanova tries to save it in bounds, but she steps on the end line before she makes contact, and so that'll be Dominican ball. Beltre handing it back to Abreu, 10 to shoot. She goes around the screen. Beltre pops for 3. That rattles out. Casanova circles back around and slows it up. Inside of 2 minutes to play. Amargo for 3. Bang!
What a game from Amargo so far.
18 points.
In less than a half.
Boy, and just a bad pass there. Chasey Hernandez was going one direction. The pass went the other, and the Cubans come away with it. Amargo again. Rebound back tapped, fought for, and out of bounds. That'll be Dominican ball. 1:06 to play. Soto coming back on for the Dominican Republic as Andrina Paniagua has a seat. Abreu waiting for some movement to come around the screen by Soto. Finds herself in the corner now, attacks the baseline, spins, tries to give it up underneath, and the pass intercepted by Oquendo. And now a steal by Abreu. Back to Abreu. 35 to play in the half. Abreu calling for some help. She finally gets it to Beltre. Chasey Hernandez has it poked away by Casanova. 6 to shoot for the Dominican Republic when they get it back. They'll have it in front of the Cuban bench. Aguero, top of the key, finally sees that she has to shoot it. Gets the shot up. Comes up a little short, and Cuba says, forget this play for one stuff. Pavea goes up with 10 seconds left. If you got an open shot, you want to take it. That foul for the Dominican Republic on Genesis Evangelista, her first, fourth on the team. And Povea to the free throw line. Povea, the 30-year-old from Pinar del Rio. Very nice free throw motion. Missed the second, however. Casanova. And the carry.
That's a rare turnover from Casanova. She usually is so good with the ball. Rarely carries or travels. But can play a little better than what we've seen tonight from her so far.
Oh, and that shot by Figueroa almost goes in from nearly half court. A little bank job. 35-20. As Cuba outscores the Dominican 15-10 in that second quarter. And we go to the break with the Cubans up 15 points. Cuba, 11 of 35 from two-point range, 31%, 2 of 4 from 3, 7 of 9 from the free throw line for 78%. The Dominican Republic just 17% from two-point range, 3 of 18, 4 of 13 from beyond the arc for 31%. Only shot 2 free throws in that second quarter, or rather in that first half. And they were 2 for 2. 27 rebounds for Cuba, 18 for the Dominican Republic, just 3 offensive for the Dominicans. 11 assists in that first half for Cuba. Casanova with 9 of those. 13 turnovers for the Dominican in that first half, 9 steals for Cuba. Cuba leading points in the paint, 14-6. Second chance points, 4-3. The Dominican bench outscoring Cuba 12-9. So the Dominican Republic finds themselves down 15 headed into halftime. When we come back, we will be talking with my partner about what the Dominican Republic needs to do to get back into this one. 35-20, our fourth and final game of the evening. Thanks so much for being with us at the Saville Community Sports Center at the University of Alberta in Edmonton. This is the FIBA Americas 2015 Women's Championships.
We are nearing the end of day 2 at the FIBA Americas, getting our first look at Cuba, and they lead 35-20 over the Dominican Republic. We watched them coming in, we saw them warming up, we've been waiting to see them, and a nice 15-point lead is probably what they were looking for.
I think so, and if they hadn't missed a bunch of their fast break points, I think they would have been up a lot more. And I think you see that Cuba is very active on defense. They get their hands on lots of balls. They're getting tips, they're getting fast breaks. And you have to be careful if you're Dominican Republic. You need to really take care of that ball. One
player standing out among many good ones, Amargo, both doing it with the long ball and leading the way on the fast break.
I think so, and I think what we've seen from her so far is typical of a Cuban player. And she gets her hands on everything. She leads the break, and it's simple for her to get her buckets based on the defense. And there we see a tip, and then we see her point guard is just handing it up to her. And she gets up, she can read the floor well, and she sees where she needs to be to get easy buckets.
A little bit more of a complete player than maybe we were thinking coming into the game.
I think so. Yeah, she's hitting threes, she's getting out on the run, and she's high-fiving.
Now, on the other side of things, obviously the Dominican Republic would like to do things a little bit better, considering how bad they lost in their first game. Hanging around by 15.5 isn't that bad. Ball carrier Evangelista has wanted to make an impact on the game, but maybe needing a little bit more still.
I think so. What we saw on her, if you look at her stats, she doesn't have any assists, and she has, there's one of the buckets that she has made, but I think we're going to look for her to get some more assists and get more people involved in the game, and also maybe get herself and not be scared of taking it to the Cubans and getting under the basket.
Looking to maybe play more like Casanova on the other side, but we've seen great point guard play from Casanova for Cuba, and that is one of the main reasons that they have a 35-20 lead over the Dominican Republic, trying to join a number of other teams in the win column here at the FIBA Americas. Second half action is coming up on TSN.
Welcome back to the Saville Community Sports Center on the campus of the University of Alberta in Edmonton. Just a sparkling, gorgeous facility. And a great tournament put on so far by the local committee, Alberta Basketball, Canada Basketball, and FIBA. Everything's been first class all the way so far, and we've had some great play, some great individual efforts, and great television production as well. Beautiful HD pictures coming to you on TSN and FIBA World Live, livebasketball.tv. Wherever you're tuned in from around the world, we are so glad you can be with us for this Olympic qualifying tournament. The winner of this one has their ticket automatically punched to Rio next summer. Positions 2, 3, and 4 go into a play-in tournament. And if Brazil is one of the top 4 in this tournament, that will extend to a 5th team as Cuba starts off the second half with a three-pointer by Laides Oquendo. We talked coming out of halftime. What does the Dominican Republic need to do to try to get back into this one?
Well, first and foremost, Greg, they need to score. They're not going to win a game only scoring 20 points a half. And right now, their shots are not following. They're scoring about 20% on offense of their shots taken as Cuba continues to score. But simply, if they cannot make shots, they need to find other ways. Grabbing offensive boards, driving more, getting to the free throw line. Maybe even scoring from their defense on steals and trying to create something. Those are the options they have right now.
Next to nothing in the way of second chance points for Dominican Republic. They only have 3 offensive rebounds. Now a 3 on the way, that's short. And again, a one-shot possession for the DR. Amargo for 3, bang! And the Cubans have come out on fire in this second half.
This is Amargo's 21st point. She picked up on the second half exactly where she left off in the first, nailing another 3. She's 3 for 4.
Evangelista picks it up at the right elbow to Beltre, now left side. Paniagua looking for something. Finally makes a move. I don't think she got the shot off. Oh, they're going to call a foul on Povea. Arite Povea draws her second foul. Team's first as we get a look at the pass from Oquendo and the three-pointer from Amargo. And when points are as hard to come by as they have been for the Dominicans, you don't want to give away any at the free throw line. Second free throw is good by Paniagua.
And now the Dominican shows some pressure. That's a good way to try to change the pace and maybe get some steals to easy baskets.
Cuba breaks the press. Atiz can't finish though. Just about a time violation there. Evangelista around the screen by Beltre. She picks up the dribble, bounces it to Beltre and poked away from behind by Casanova. Casanova and Amargo. Instead, they tried to hit the three-point shooter on the outside. That was Laides Oquendo who pulled up, and then it was tipped out of bounds by Chesy Hernandez. Nice feed inside to Povea. Her shot won't go, but she draws the foul. That's going to be on Viviane Beltre, her second. That was unusual. She bounces the ball with her left hand and shoots it with the right.
Well, every player has a routine. Now she did not do the same routine. She said, I quit on that routine. Let me just shoot the ball. Both teams in some pressure, both doing it 2-2-1, full court press. after make free throws and make baskets.
Pass a little bit too far, and Cuba comes away with the turnover, and the three-point shot short. And Evangelista running. Kind of lost control of the ball. Then she went behind the back, and Casanova poked it away. Cuba with a 3-on-2. Casanova a little too strong on the pass to Ortiz. It was only about 3 feet away, although I guess we're in Canada, so I'll say 1 meter.
Yeah, sure,
and, pass was a little too hard, and the Dominicans call timeout. With 7:17 to play in the third, they take their first timeout.
Well, Casanova is quite the playmaker for Cuba. She hasn't scored yet. I mean, she has 2 points. Usually she can really score. She can shoot the three. She has a nice jump shot, but listen to this. She has 10 assists in the game. This one was a little too hard, but wow, can she seize the floor well. 10 assists in a half.
Here you get a look at Coach Ariel Portuondo. And there you get a look at some of the excitement that FIBA brings you around the world. The home of basketball, FIBA. Follow us on Facebook. Also on Twitter and Instagram at FIBA.
Now, we haven't seen Monsac back in the game, not even back on the bench since she left with that blood on her forehead. She's the captain of the team. Their tallest player at 6'2" is now missing for Dominican Republic.
Now the drive by Evangelista off the glass won't go. But I think that's what the Dominican Republic needs to do. Try to get to the basket, try to draw some fouls, maybe some and ones.
You're absolutely right. And go, if they miss a basket, get some offensive rebounds. They've only grabbed 2 so far, but they've missed over 22 shots in the game. They've got to grab more than just 2 out of 22 missed shots.
Casanova right side. Outside jumper, high off the glass, won't go. Casanova's probably saying, come on, get in there. That would have been another assist for me. Evangelista kicks it out, and on the drive is Estrella. Foul on Ladis Oquendo, her first, second on the team. Wow, a lot of contact in there by Povea.
Yeah.
Seemed like a little bit of a late whistle, but a whistle nonetheless. Correctly called. Foul on Povea, her third, team's third. And I wonder with Suyeri Monsac, not only did she have the cut on the side of her head, I wonder if they weren't putting her through the concussion protocol as well.
Oh, that's you're probably right. They probably have to do that. That knee that seemed to have created a cut on her forehead. She's not even back on the floor, sorry, on the gym. Just in the game earlier, we saw also Chile's best player, Morrison, leave in a wheelchair.
Yeah, tweak that back. I mean, that was a very strange injury. I guess she did something to it the night before. And then, you know, we watched the replay as you did, and there was no contact. I mean, it just, with back, sometimes that happens.
Absolutely, and she left in a wheelchair, and both teams, Chile and now the Dominican Republic, without Monsac, both teams missing their best post players.
Meanwhile, Amargo hits, and she's got 23 now.
Cubas continue to press.
Keep referring to the Cuban press, and it keeps making me hungry because I believe the Cuban press is a sandwich.
Well, let's see if they can add to that sandwich a little bit. and maybe give different looks.
Thin sliced pork, pickles, spicy mustard. I think that's what goes on there.
That would make for interesting defenses, that's for sure.
You can tell you've been at the gym a long time when you start talking about sandwich recipes. Cuba comes away with another turnover. Oquendo glides in and lays it in with the left hand, and it is 48-23.
The game is definitely slipping away for the Dominican, but you gotta wonder, for Cuba, somebody like Casanova has played a lot of games. He just subbed her out. That's the first time that she gets out of the game. She's played over 20 minutes so far, replacing her with Romero to run the point. That's very important for Cuba. We mentioned that they might be the closest rival and biggest rival to Canada. They're playing them tomorrow, so they want to use this game to get a good run, but also rest their best players.
Ham, roasted pork, Swiss cheese, pickles, mustard, and sometimes salami on Cuban bread. That would be your Cuban press sandwich, courtesy of Google.
That's outstanding.
Jumper by Romero, no good, and now fighting for it on the way back up is Oquendo. And finally, Cuba gets it in there, and they've doubled up the Dominican Republic again at 50-25. 3 blowouts in 4 games. You're stretching for material. So
building a sandwich.
A tie-up called, and possession will go to the Dominican. Galiendo in, Oquendo out for Cuba.
Speaking of good substitution and rest, Cuba only has 1 starter left on the floor. Noblet. Noblet was an outstanding player for Cuba at the Pan American Games in Toronto. Cuba won the bronze medal. They beat Brazil for the 3rd place. The American team finished 2nd. Canada won the gold. And here, without the American team, of course, the American had sent a younger team. It was a student team. The true senior team is already qualified for the Olympic. In Cuba, if Jalise can shoot like this, will be a very difficult matchup for Canada tomorrow.
Jalise now with 5. Yeah, the American team already qualifying for the Olympics, I believe by virtue of their win last year in the FIBA World Cup.
Absolutely. The world champion gets an automatic bid to the Rio Olympics. There's only 12 teams that can qualify, and the other one that is already in is Brazil. They were told yesterday that the Brazilian women's and men's team will be, as the host, will be awarded a bid as well, have been awarded a bid. So 2 out of 12 teams.
And then the various FIBA zones around the world, champions of those tournaments automatically qualify, and then depending on the zone, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, or even sometimes just 2nd, will go to a play-in tournament to qualify for those remaining spots.
Actually, the Serbia that qualified from Eurobasket, they were the European champion. There's actually 3 out of 12 teams already set. The 4th one will be receive their bid on Sunday when the gold medal winner wins the game.
Boy, in a kind of a strange play with the shot clock there, a bailout 3-pointer that banked off the glass. The horn sounded, and everybody from the Dominican just kind of stood around. Cuba broke because their player caught the ball. They were expecting a shot clock violation and a stoppage. Cuba played on.
Always play till the whistle. The whistle directs the game, not the horn. That's really important.
That's pretty much an adage in every sport. Play until you hear the official tells you to stop.
Coach Portuondo, who is a little feels like he is at a loss for answers. He's without his star Monzac. Still hasn't come back on the gym. His team cannot score. They only scored 5 points so far this quarter.
Galindo with a nice effort. Along the baseline, gets her own follow, goes up and then draws the foul. Foul, I believe, was on Zapata. Her first. Hernandez follows her own three-point attempt. That's no good. Beg your pardon, I was looking at the wrong team on the fouls. So the foul was on Giselle Piguero. Okay, now we're set. I was looking up at the board and I saw 4 blinking. Meanwhile, Romero scores.
And the Dominican is not making that game any easier to call for us here. They should try to make at least a little bit of an effort to back up on defense, rebound the ball.
As you said, only 5 points scored in this third quarter.
And no sense of urgency whatsoever from the Dominican, who looks like they just want this game to go.
That foul was on Galindo, by the way. Hernandez, right side, driving. Goes up over Noblet. And Noblet will draw the foul, her second.
That will leave 1 possession for Cuba with 19 seconds to go in that third quarter. They probably will try to use the clock and take only 1 shot.
Chasey Hernandez with 7 points, now 8. 62-27. Boy, Cuba almost got it up too quickly.
And they will send the Dominican
back to the free throw line.
Back to the free throw line. You're absolutely right. That shot was taken way too early.
Arete Povea draws her 4th foul.
Sometimes controlling the clock and knowing where the game is at, that's a sign of such a great basketball player, because a good basketball player needs to have skills, yes, intensity, passion, but also a knowledge of the clock and the time that's left. For example, perhaps pulling the ball back and getting a shot would have avoided that foul. Cuba could have finished on the scoreboard instead of giving 1 point to Dominican.
They changed that foul call from Povea to Noblet, so Povea stays at 3 fouls. Noblet goes to 3. Hernandez looks to inbound, gets it to Beltre. Cuba with a chance for a last shot. Noblet from the free throw line. And that banks off the back iron, and the score at the end of the third quarter is Cuba 62 and the Dominican Republic 28. Dominicans 17% from the floor, 4 of 23, 4 of 16 from beyond the arc, 8 of 10 from the free throw line, just 5 offensive rebounds thus far, 23 total. Cuba, 20 of 54 from the floor. They're not shooting great. They're 4 of 8 from three-point range, 10 of 13 from the free throw line. But when you can outscore a team 27-8 in a period, you're going to be doing okay. 19 assists for Cuba, as they're led by Yamari Amargo with 23 points. Casanova with 10 assists, Akendo with 8 rebounds, Paniagua leading Dominican Republic with 9 points, and 6 rebounds for Beltre. Fourth quarter action when we come back from Edmonton. This is the FIBA Americas 2015 Championships for Women. Back to the action as Cuba takes a 62-28 lead into the fourth quarter.
Dominicans still in their individual defense. Have no answer, especially for the high-low between Avila and Atis.
Atis banks 2 more, and she's got 4 points now. Soto, I'm surprised we didn't see a little bit more of her with Monsek out. And Beltre, little stick-to-itiveness there from Beltre.
That's a little bit of what Casanova can do much better. She can drive like this a lot and pull the jump shot. She can also hit a three-point on transition, no problem. She's back in the game with 10 assists. Already in 3 quarters.
Chasey Hernandez on the breakaway. She gets the layup. She does have 7 turnovers, or rather 8 turnovers to go with those 10 assists. But she also has 5 steals, so.
Well, it's a little bit of a give and take.
Yeah.
Earlier, there was a great game from another playmaker from Team Canada, Miami Langlois, who finished with 10 assists and 1 turnover in an entire game. Obviously, outstanding, but 10 assists, 7 turnovers, 5 steals.
You'll take it.
You'll take it. It's still in the plus column.
An ill-advised pass there by Peguero. Boy, the players kind of lolling around now. It's almost like an NBA All-Star game.
That is,
even Cuba up this much.
Oh yeah, Dominican has no interest in playing this basketball game right now. It's almost a little frustrating to watch, but Dominican is playing just not as good as we've seen that team being able to play better.
Estrella spins along the baseline, has it poked out of there by Casanova. Soto gets the loose ball, pops from the free throw line and misses. Ball out of bounds to Cuba. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, 4 more big games as Puerto Rico, they were idle today. They take on Cuba in the first game tomorrow. Puerto Rico got thumped by Canada last night. Our second game tomorrow, it's Argentina taking on the Virgin Islands. Virgin Islands come into that one 0-2. Argentina winning earlier today against Ecuador handily, 70-35. Virgin Islands kept it close against Venezuela. Then in our third game, Canada against the Dominican Republic, and based on the way the Dominican played tonight and the way Canada played tonight, that has the potential of possibly being even a little more lopsided than this one, especially if Monsac is out for the whole game.
Absolutely, and that's going to be a different challenge from Canada to not come flat-footed. If they are watching at all this game right now, as they're preparing to head to bed, they might just think, well, it's going to be an easy walk in the park tomorrow, and that's dangerous.
And then our nightcap tomorrow, Brazil and Ecuador.
Yeah, that will be assist, assist number 11 for Casanova. Boy, I think Mara Langlois might have thought that she would have the lead the tournament in assists, but right now she just got beat and is no longer the assist leading person of the tournament. But Casanova took it with 11.
Chasey Hernandez scores, 72-34.
Cuba completely dominates in the paint, 34-12. Of course, they have much more height, much more experience. The Cuban team is the oldest team of the tournament. Their average age is 33 years old. As we see another one of almost Casanova's assist, but great pass, looking up the floor, through Noblet, back to Akendo for the basket.
Timeout on the floor. I think even the music person here in the Seattle Community Sports Center is dozing a little bit as they went to timeout. No music came on in the auditorium. As we get a look in the Cuban huddle, and now the Dominican huddle. It was Ariel Portendo who called that timeout. Their second. They've got one left. It's going to say our nightcap tomorrow between South American neighbors Brazil and Ecuador, but they don't actually border each other. Ecuador on the west coast of South America, separated by Peru and Colombia. Met some great people from the country of Suriname in South America at the Caribbean Basketball Confederation Championships last month in the British Virgin Islands. I think everybody in the entire country of Suriname was online watching our feed and interacting with us on social media.
Well, that's really outstanding. That makes a lot of, it makes it very entertaining.
It was, especially with some of the Dutch names. That was quite the challenge. Now, Cuba obviously going to come away with a fairly handy win tonight, but you have to wonder how much of that is a function of the opponent. I mean, Cuba has looked good, but I don't think they've looked as impressive as, say, Canada has looked so far. Canada's done it over 2 games. This is Cuba's first action. They do have 17 steals, 23 assists in the game. But I think the Canadians are more athletic and faster. So if it comes down to the 2 of those teams for the gold, right now I'd have to say advantage Canada.
Well, they just played a few weeks ago at Pan Am's, and Canada did beat Cuba by 3. It was a very close game. But one thing for sure, Craig, you're absolutely right, is that the Dominican did not show as much tenacity as an opponent to Cuba as Chile and Puerto Rico has done to Canada.
Now another breakaway for Cuba. Sarlenis Romero, she's got 4 now. Margot on the bench with 25. Now Jaycee Hernandez for 3. That's no good. Rebound out of bounds off of Marlon Cepeda. Abreu. Over to Evangelista. She feeds it down low. That's Paniagua. Soto with the follow. That's no good. Suchitella Vila thought about the 3 and thought better of it. Now the feed from Romero to Cepeda underneath. Goes out of bounds, but a foul called.
You know that's the first foul called this quarter. Oh, no. Yes, it is.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It's on Jaycee Hernandez, her first. Jumper from the right elbow by Cepeda, no good. And Jaycee Hernandez runs into a pair of Cuban defenders. Now a 3 on the way from Evangelista. And that's good.
That is Evangelista's first 3 of the game. Only 1 player in double digit for Dominican so far. That's Hernandez, number 14 with 12.
Replay on that 3-pointer there. Jaycee Hernandez hit at least 1 3 earlier. Now along 2 by Jalis. That's no good. Rebound pulled out of there by Paniagua. Soto from in close. That's no good. Avila couldn't control the rebound. Long pass cross court to Ochoa. She drives baseline. A lot of contact, no call.
No call, yeah.
I think the officials may just want to keep it at 1 foul for this 4th quarter and get these teams into the locker room. That time, Evangelista.
Wow. Well, she just nailed the 3, and now she has a chance to convert on the other possible 3-point play, the layup and the free throw.
Foul on Onesi Jalis, her first. See the athletic move there. Nice body control by Evangelista. Can't complete the 3-point play, though. And Cuba, a little too far on the outlet pass. And Soto comes out. She's holding her throat. Let's see where she got. Let's see where she got hit. 18 steals in the game for Cuba, as compared to 4 for the Dominican Republic. Inside of a minute and a half to play. And Jaycee Hernandez scores again. She's got 14. Suchitella Vila for 3. Why not?
Wow, yeah, she's got all of the post players from Cuba can shoot the three-point shot just as well as Avila.
Cuba approaching a 40-point lead, 79-41, a minute to play in this one. Beltre's three, Karam's off, and out of bounds, it'll be Cuba ball. Romero into the front court, picked up by Abreu. Around the screen by Avila. Cuban still nice ball movement. And Ochoa gets the shot to go. She's got 10. Evangelista misses. Abreu with a rebound. Shot clock at 6. Long three-pointer rattled in by Evangelista. How about that?
Yeah, it's a nice, very nice basket. She's 2 for 2 at 3. Too bad she couldn't come up with this a little earlier in the game. Of course, with about 10 seconds to go, it won't be enough to help her team.
Now Ochoa. And Cuba missing 2 of their final 3 attempts. And finally, Cepeda banks it in to make it 83-44. So Cuba moves to 1-0 in Group A play. Dominican Republic falls to 0-2 with the 83-44 loss. I think we've dissected the numbers quite a bit in this one. I don't know if we necessarily want to do a complete autopsy on the stat sheet here. Suffice it to say that it was dominated by Cuba, led by Yamara Amargo with 25 points.
And Casanova's
Anitas Casanova, 12 assists, indeed. Evangelista had 14 for the Dominican Republic, as did Chasey Hernandez. And that really the only 2 bright spots for the DR. 25 turnovers for the Dominican, 18 steals for Cuba. Points in the paint, 42-18. And rebounds, 53-34 in favor of Cuba. So once again, the final score, 83-44. Dominican Republic has to regroup before they face the mighty Canadians tomorrow. And they're going to have to figure out a way to do it possibly without Suyeri Mansak. Cuba, meanwhile, takes on Puerto Rico in the first game tomorrow. Let's run down that lineup of tomorrow's games. At 1 o'clock, it's Puerto Rico and Cuba. 3:15, Argentina and the Virgin Islands. At 6:30 then, the Dominican Republic takes on Canada. And then the nightcap at 8:45, Brazil and Ecuador. Your first chance to look at Cuba in this tournament, Chantal. What are your impressions, and how do you think they're going to stack up against either Cuba, or rather against Canada or Brazil?
Well, they stack up really well against both these teams, and today it wasn't Cuba's best game. We've seen them play this summer at a much higher pace and a much more physical pace, but the Dominican Republic was no match for Cuba. So I think Cuba knew this, and it was just a matter of letting the game unfold. And with 4 quarters, almost double their points, Cuba knew that they were going to get in this game and win quite easily.
That'll do it from the Saville Community Sports Center on the campus of the University of Alberta in Edmonton. For my partner Chantal Vallée, Michelle Hendry, Dustin Nielsen, everybody at TSN and FIBA, say thanks for tuning in tonight, and we hope to see you tomorrow for 4 more exciting games at the 2015 FIBA Americas Championship for Women. Once again, for Chantal Vallée, I'm Craig Fada saying so long from Edmonton.